Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to discuss about normal flora of human body. So, what is normal flora of human body? It denotes the population of microorganisms that inhabits the skin and mucous membranes of the healthy normal person without causing any harm to the host. So, this normal flora is also regarded as a microbial biome which inhabits the skin and mucous membranes of the normal person and healthy normal person, but it will not cause any kind of disease or harm to the host body. So these are two types of microbial flora are present basically. So the first one is the residential flora. So the residential flora occurs at a particular age, at fixed age, and at the fixed type of area occupied by fixed type of microbes. So this kind of flora is known as the resident flora. So the second most flora is the transient flora, which inhabits the skin or mucous membrane for hours, days, or weeks derived from the environment. So this also does not cause any kind of diseases and does not establish itself permanently on the surface. So as I have mentioned, it lasts up to for hours, days and weeks, and they derive from the environment. So they establish itself permanently on the does not establish itself permanently on the surface. So this kind of flora is known as transient flora. So what are the general characteristics of normal flora here? So there are certain kind of microorganisms which may harm the human body, right? So in case of normal flora, it should not cause any kind of diseases. So there are some other kind of characteristics that a normal flora should have in order to develop on the human body. So the first of all, it should not cause any disease, which means it should not be a disease inducing. And second one, it must be very abundant. Ordinary human beings approximately have 10 to the power 13 to 10 to the power 14 cells. This is the individual normal flora count. So the microbial biome must be abundant and it should not be disease causing. So all found externally basically. So this microbial flora can be present on skin, nose, oral fissures, throat and lower parts of the urethra and large intestine. So these are some characteristics of the normal flora of human body. So there are some other types of flora. The first one is commensal microflora. So whatever the normal microbial flora is present, it is majorly commensal microflora. So it actually gets benefits from the humans and it does not cause any harm or benefit to the body, host body. The second one is mutualistic microflora. So this kind of mutualistic microflora actually gets benefits from the host as well as it gives benefits to the host. So there is a mutual relationship between the host and this microflora. So that's why it is named as mutualistic microflora. So the third most type is opportunistic microflora. So as the name suggests, it is opportunistic, which means it normally don't cause any kind of disease to the host, but if it has a chance to cause any disease, for example, if there are any changes in the environment or if there are any changes in the hygienic conditions, so this kind of microflora generally trigger themselves to cause disease as if they found chance. So the one example will be the normal flora of gastrointestinal tract, that is E. coli causes urinary tract infections when habitat change. So basically the Escherichia coli on the gastrointestinal tract is beneficial, but when the habitat changes, when the conditions changes, it can actually trigger the urinary tract infections. So this kind of normal flora, example E. coli, comes under the opportunistic microflora. So what are the beneficial role of normal flora here? So this normal flora of the human body can synthesize and excrete vitamins in excess of their own needs, which can be absorbed as nutrients by host. So whatever the microbial flora are present in the human body, they actually synthesize and excrete vitamins for their own benefits, and those vitamins which are produced by those microbial flora in excess will be absorbed by the host as nutrients. For example, enteric bacteria can synthesize vitamin K and vitamin B12, which will be absorbed by the body. And the lactic acid bacteria can synthesize and excrete certain vitamin B. The second most beneficial role is prevent colonization by pathogens by competing for attachment sites or for essential nutrients. So this normal flora which is already present on the human body will prevent the disease causing pathogens for attachment sites. So it will not provide any space for the disease causing pathogens as they are already living as residents in the human body, and they can antagonize other bacteria. As I have mentioned that they can antagonize, means they can go against to the disease causing bacteria. Example, intestinal bacteria produce variety of substances like fatty acids and peroxides. So this can kill pathogens. So this is one such example here. And the fourth one is they can stimulate the development of certain tissues like cecum and lymphatic tissues, which is pair patches in the gastrointestinal tract, which these pair patches in lymphatic tissue serve the purpose of immunity. So this development of this kind of tissues can also be stimulated by the normal flora of human body. And they can stimulate the production of natural antibodies, which means they can create immune response in the body. So these are some beneficial roles and characteristics of normal flora and the types. So now let's see what are the regions of the normal flora. If you take skin, the normal flora of the skin is known as skin microbiota or microbiome. The example will be the Staphylococcus epidermis is the most common normal flora occurs in the skin, and the less common but notable normal flora will be Staphylococcus aureus and Corynebacteria. So these are the normal flora of the skin, and also here we have Streptococci, anaerobes, example Peptostreptococci and yeast, basically Candida species. So this kind of normal flora are generally present on the skin. If you divide the skin sites into dry body sites, moist and sebaceous sites. So in dry body sites which we cannot observe any kind of moisture. So like forearms, hands, legs and feet. Due to high exposure, these are occupied by Staphylococcus epidermis. In the moisture area like elbow, beneath the breast, in between toes. So these sites occupied by Corynebacterium flora, and it is sebaceous sites where these are rich in the oil secretions, where the sebaceous glands secrete oil. So like head, neck and trunk, these are occupied by Demodex folliculorum, Demodex brevis. So these are some species, and fungi like Malassezia. So these are some certain skin sites where particular flora occupies the particular site. The next one, normal flora of the oral cavity. So basically at the time of birth, so the oral cavity is free of microbes, but after few hours of birth, it will be automatically colonized by the flora. Examples: Streptococcus, Actinomyces, Lactobacillus, and some yeast, and some aerobes and obligate anaerobes will occupy the oral cavity. So when the first teeth erupt, which is the milk teeth, anaerobic forms dominate between the germ gums and spaces. So there are two sets of teeth which will be formed in the lifetime of a human. One is milk teeth, and the second one is permanent permanent teeth. So milk teeth are the first teeth which will erupt at particular age. So after the first teeth eruption, anaerobic forms of flora will dominate or occupy between the gums and spaces of the oral cavity. Later on, those sites will be occupied by the Streptococcus species, particularly on the animal surfaces, and colonize the saliva. So presence of this causes, this is the reason why we have dental plaques in the oral cavity, dental caries, which means cavities, inflammation of gum tissues, and periodontal diseases. So basically these flora are present in the oral cavity, but upon the changing of habitats, they can become opportunistic and cause opportunistic infections like inflammation of gum tissues and periodontal diseases. So the dental plaques are very much common, dental plaques and dental caries, which are cavities. So these conditions occurs due to the change in environment or uh, by unhygienic maintenance of the oral health. So this microbial flora on the human body may cause infections, so it is better to maintain hygiene. So next one is normal flora of the respiratory tract. When you see the upper respiratory tract, especially at the nostrils, we have Staphylococci, Streptococci, Neisseria, Haemophilus, etc. And at the digestive tract, in the stomach region, few bacteria are present because due to high acidic nature, there will not be more microbial biome in the stomach regions. So the few bacteria like Helicobacter pylori. So Helicobacter pylori may cause peptic ulcers, and at the duodenum also we can observe less bacteria due to acidic conditions. And in the small intestine region, small number of streptococci, lactobacilli, yeast and candida albicans are present. So at the colon region, anaerobic gram negative and gram positive bacteria are present. So the colon is the main site for the bacteria in the body. So it is like a fermentation vessel for the microorganisms. So large intestine, the flora like bacteroids, bifidobacterium, eubacterium, coliforms, lactobacillus, clostridium present. So these are some bacteria which we can see in the digestive tract. And lastly, Urogenital tract. So there are some microbial flora in the urinogenital tract as well. Urinary bladder is itself sterile in both male and female. Epithelial cells lining the urethra are colonized by the gram-negative, facultatively aerobic cocci and bacilli bacteria. So, what are facultative aerobes or anaerobes means they can survive in the presence or absence of oxygen. So, in case of urinary bladder, itself is sterile in both male and females, but the epithelial cell lining of the urethra are colonized by the microbes like gram-negative, facultatively aerobic cocci and bacilli bacteria. So the examples will be Staphylococcus epidermis, Enterococcus fecalis, and Corynebacterium species. So these are few examples of the microbial biome of urogenital tract, and other microbes such as yeast, Torulopsis and Candida species, Streptococcus and E. coli. So, in case of females, the vaginal microflora constantly changes between puberty and menopause. Lactobacillus acidophilus maintains the acidic conditions which are generally less acid by fermenting glycogen into lactic acid. So, it maintains the acidic conditions which are generally less acid by fermenting glycogen to lactic acid. So this maintenance of acidic condition is essential as the regions may be more prone to infections. So whatever the microbial flora which we have seen right now are generally present on the body. So depending upon the environment or habitat change or depending upon the hygienic maintenance of an individual, they can support or they can cause infections to an individual. So this is all about the normal flora of human body. I hope you understand this lecture. Thank you for watching.